Hi, I'm Raylene, and welcome to Khaleesi Clues. This will be the 12th video in a series of Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction videos that I'm currently making for my channel. If you are trying to follow along in order, this is the continuation from my previous video titled Tyrion Lannister, Wake the Dragon. Although this is truly just a prediction video based on speculation, I will be discussing clues found in all 7 seasons from the HBO hit series and all of the previously released A Song of Ice and Fire books. My last couple of videos covered predictions for Sansa and Tyrion, leading up to them conceiving a child for Season 8. In this video, I will be talking about how the Night King ties into their storyline. I'm going to be bringing in new clues that I have found that supports my original Night King theory video. I stated in that video that I believe the Night King is a Dragon Lord. He is the blood of the dragon, the blood of fire from old Valyria. Whether he turns out to be an actual Targaryen or a distant relative of the Targaryen family will probably have to be revealed in the show or in the books. I'm not picky about what people want to call him. It all basically boils down to the same thing. He's a dragon, complete with matching horns. Sansa being kissed by fire could even be considered a clue to her future connection with the Night King. If Bran is considered to be the Prince of Winterfell, then that makes Sansa a Princess of Winterfell. She is the blood of the old kings of winter. Her bloodline is royal. The blood of the first men runs through her veins, and her blood is of ice. The same for Jon and all of the Stark children. Jon being an exception to the case, because he is actually not only royal through his mother's ice side, but also royal through his father's fire side. The same can be said for the Stark's future children. More specifically, I am referring to Tyrion with Sansa's child and Jon with Dany's child. Both will be children resulting from the combination of ice and fire. Lately, there has been a lot of speculation about what or who the Night King's target is in this story. I know a lot of people suspect Bran or Jon as being his primary target. I do believe the Night King has many targets on his list, but I believe his ultimate target is the children. Not just any random child, but a particular special group of children. I'm speaking about the children of ice and fire. They are the Night King's primary targets, and they will be in danger. I'm still debating whether the Night King plans to change the babies into baby White Walkers or actually kill them. I have a tendency to lean towards the idea of him changing the children into White Walkers, since we have previously seen him perform this to Craster's child on the ice altar back in Season 4. Plus the big clue that Gilly shouted out to Sam when they had escaped the Craster's Keep massacre. As the White Walkers approached their camp, she yells, "He wants my baby." We may even see the White Walkers come after little Sam again this final season. I believe baby Sam and all of his previous brothers may be the children of ice and fire too. I have not researched this theory at all, but it is clearly obvious that there is something special about Craster and his children. I am basing my belief on the statements I have heard from other fans and YouTube channels that believe Craster may have been the bastard child of a Targaryen and possibly a wildling whore from Molestown. Well, if that does turn out to be the case, Craster and Gilly and all of the children from that group would be the blood of ice and fire too. The fire element coming from the Targaryen side and the ice element coming from the wildling side. We were informed of this when we heard Ygritte tell Jon the blood of the first men runs through the wildling's veins too. Craster has kept his bloodline pretty pure with all of the incest he has practiced. Funny thing is, that makes Gilly a secret Targaryen too. We all knew there must be something special about baby Sam. We just couldn't pinpoint the reason. Baby Sam is not just a gift to the gods, as Craster's daughters would say. He was special because he could have very well been the prophesized one, the special one that the Night King is looking for, the child of ice and fire who is prophesied to be the end-all, be-all to the Night King. The Night King is looking to change his prophecy, the same as Queen Cersei is hell-bent on eliminating her Valonqar in order to change her prophesied doom. Another perfect example is how Queen Cersei is constantly haunted by the thought of a younger, more beautiful queen. One prophesies to come along, cast her down, and take everything she holds dear. Cersei keeps trying to prevent this from happening. First it was Sansa, then she moved on to Marjorie, and now she'll be faced with Dany and Sansa once again. Like I said before, she is looking in the wrong places. The prophecy does not say another queen shall come along. It simply says, until there comes another, younger, more beautiful, to cast you down and take everything you hold dear. The word another does not have to mean queen. The word another could simply be another person, male or female, from a king to a servant. Another is just simply another. What we do know more specifically is that the person will be younger and more beautiful. That person is coming to King's Landing in the disguise of Jon. Arya will be the one wearing Jon's face. The queen will let him get close to her because, as she said in Season 7, she trusts the son of Ned Stark. She believes he will be true to his word. Jon reinforced that belief for her when he couldn't lie to her about staying neutral and not raising arms against the Lannister forces when the truce was over. As I covered in my video titled, Arya Stark, Jon Snow, That's Not You, Arya will go to King's Landing wearing Jon's face. She will give his word to the queen that he is only there to negotiate the release of their sister Sansa. Cersei will trust his word, but that will be her downfall, because it won't be the word of Jon Snow. Arya, as Jon, will be the one to cast Cersei down from the throne, and might very well be the one who kills Cersei. Cersei has already lost Jaime to Jon. She will lose the throne to him too. He, in essence, will take everything she holds dear. He's younger and definitely more beautiful on the inside. One of my favorite Jon scenes last season is when we almost witnessed Littlefinger get his lights knocked out by Jon. His warning to Littlefinger about Sansa was, "Touch my sister and I'll kill you myself." That warning applies to you too, Cersei. And don't worry, Jon, little sister Arya has got your back. She's going to be taking care of some business this season. And now that I think about it, that same warning may apply to the Night King too. But getting back to how this part of Cersei's story parallels the Night King, this is what I believe the Night King is doing by collecting and changing all of Craster's male babies. He knows the prophecy of Azor Ahai. And I believe the words Azor Ahai may possibly translate to be ice and fire. He is looking to eliminate that threat. He just doesn't know exactly which child of ice and fire will be the prophesied one. And maybe, just like Cersei looking for her prophesied younger queen and Valonqar in all of the wrong places, the same could be said for the Night King. Little do they know, he's been right there in front of their eyes many times. Jon Snow, the prophesied one, and quite possibly Azor Ahai. I have another really big prediction for the Night King. I believe we are going to see the White Walkers or even the Night King himself actually take the children. They are going to take Jon and Dany's child or children. They will probably take baby Sam too. That's also another reason why the Night King will go to King's Landing. The child of Sansa and Tyrion will be another child of ice and fire. In case you have not seen my Arya video, I stated that the Hound would be traveling back to King's Landing with Arya too. There is a Sansa and Sandor scene in Season 2 from the Battle of Blackwater Bay that I think will have some payoff this final season. Sandor had left the battle and was waiting for Sansa in her chambers. Shae had sent Sansa to her room for safety. During this scene, Sandor has offered to take Sansa back to Winterfell and she refuses. Throughout the entire conversation, Sansa was holding the baby doll that Ned had given her as a gift. The scene ends with Sansa realizing that Sandor would not hurt her. His parting words to her were, "No, little bird, I won't hurt you." As he turns his back to her and walks out the door, the camera is completely focused on the doll in her hand. I believe the possible foreshadowing from that scene is that Sansa will trust Sandor with her child. I believe there is going to be a moment when the Night King is in King's Landing. Maybe Sandor makes it to wherever the Queen has Sansa, and she will give her child to Sandor for protection. I think it's going to be a really touching scene. This really big, gruff, supposed bad guy with this tiny, helpless baby that he will guard with every ounce of blood in his body. There is another Sandor and Sansa moment from Season 2 that will probably also have some payoff this final season. That is the comment Sandor made to Sansa after she was trying to thank him for saving her from the men who tried to rape her. He said, "You'll be glad of the hateful things I do someday when you're queen and I'm all that stands between you and your beloved king." At the time, I thought he was referring to her and King Joffrey, but we may find out that it was foreshadowing an event coming with the Night King. I have so many things to discuss about the Night King. This is probably going to take a couple of videos to complete. I'm going to continue with this video covering one of the most recent clues that I have noticed. A couple of months ago, HBO released an official teaser titled Cripts of Winterfell for the 8th season of their hit series Game of Thrones. I know there were a lot of breakdown videos out there for the small teaser. I was unable to do my own version of a breakdown trailer at the time. The main reason is because my Season 8 predictions were not far enough along to support what I believe the Cripts of Winterfell teaser is trying to convey. It starts with Jon walking alone in the very dark halls of the Cripts of Winterfell. He is holding a torch, lighting his way. This, I think, is a callback to his Night's Watch vows. "I am the sword in the darkness." With his torch, he will be leading the way to fight and win this war for the dawn. As Jon is walking, he passes Lyanna's crypt statue. The feather flies out of her hand, and you hear the words she said to Ned. "You have to protect him." There is more to this scene than just the obvious reference to the Jon and Lyanna story. We have watched the secret of Jon's true parentage unfold on screen these past couple of seasons. We all know now that Lyanna is Jon's true mother. We are aware of the extreme measures that was taken to keep this little feather, that is symbolically baby Jon, safe. The feather does not just symbolize Jon, though. A feather can symbolize coverage or protection. Just the same as a feather covers and protects a bird, a secret promise to be kept can protect an innocent child. So in my interpretation, at the beginning of this story, when we saw Robert place the feather in Lyanna's hand, this feather symbolized a baby by the name of Jon, in need of protection and coverage. Protection received by the way of a promised secret to be kept from Robert Baratheon. This secret of Jon's birth may have also needed to be kept confidential from yet another even more dangerous unknown king, the Night King. Keeping Rhaegar and Lyanna's marriage a secret, and keeping the birth of Jon a secret may have been so direly important for the fact that it would also keep the secret from the Night King. The Night King's ability to see things might work the very same way we have seen Bran's ability work. He needs to be able to pick up on keywords to be pointed in the right direction in order to actually see specific things. If nobody knew the truth about Rhaegar and Lyanna, and nobody knew about Jon, who is the child of ice and fire, then that means nobody is talking about them. This would help eliminate any possible trail leading right back to Jon. He whose name shall not be spoke, so as not to draw any unwanted attention in order to keep him safe. In all reality, I always wondered why Lyanna kept her secret about her and Rhaegar. I often wondered the same about why Ned felt he could not even tell his own wife the truth about Jon. This is the best reason I can come up with for the importance of their secrecy. It's like my wise mother has always told me, if you have a secret that you don't want anyone to know, then you don't tell anyone, not even one. Because if you tell one person, chances are that one person always has someone that they trust and share it with. And then that person has a trusted one person to share your secret with. And I'm sure you can all see the pattern here. Suddenly, your secret is no longer a secret, and the trail leads right back to you. But let me get back to the feather. Now, at this stage of the story, Jon is no longer a baby in need of coverage and protection. This feather now symbolizes Jon and his destiny of fighting to protect and helping save mankind in the war to come. There is even more to this feather that I will talk about a little later. As I said in my previous video, this feather is not just any typical feather. It is a specific, distinct feather from a bird called the guinea fowl. The guinea fowl bird has been used to symbolize the human effort to survive. What better example of human survival than a sweet, innocent baby? Make sure you keep that in mind. The second part of the teaser shows Sansa walking down the halls of the Cripts of Winterfell 2. It shows the back of her, and we get a good look at her hairstyle. It is very similar to Dany's hairstyle. This may be the first, but it will not be the only parallel to Dany that we will get in this short teaser. Their hairstyles are also very similar to some of the swirling patterns of the symbols we have seen throughout our story. Sansa then passes Catelyn's statue, and you hear her voice say the words, "All of this horror that has come to my family." This line is referring back to the conversation that Catelyn had with her daughter-by-law, Robb's wife, Talissa, many seasons ago. But did you catch the words? They are directed at Sansa. The horror that is coming for Sansa, that horror is the Night King. Well, and Cersei too. Seriously, she's got some double trouble heading right for her this season. The other really important thing about this part of the teaser is that Catelyn's image symbolizes a mother. Sansa is walking right past her mother. This goes right along with my Season 8 predictions for Sansa becoming a mother. The third part of the teaser then shows Arya walking through a much narrower hallway of what seems to be the crypt still, but definitely different from Jon and Sansa's path. So maybe this could be the secret tunnels that are found in the crypts, or maybe this will be symbolic of the secret tunnels that run throughout King's Landing. Of course, it shows Arya walking by no one, which is a reference to her time training as a faceless man. We can hear the rest of Catelyn's conversation as she says, "It's all because I couldn't love a motherless child." Once again, it's the words that are said that I think is so important. I think this is a direct reference to what I have also been predicting for the fate of Sansa. As I have said in my videos, I believe that Sansa could possibly die during childbirth or by the injuries she will sustain from the orders of Queen Cersei. her death, thereby leaving her child motherless. If that is the case, I could definitely see Arya stepping in and loving her sister's child as Catelyn failed to do for Jon. The teaser then flashes back to Jon continuing his walk as he pauses in front of Ned's crypt statue. You can hear Ned's voice and words to Jon from season 1. "You are a Stark. You might not have my name, but you have my blood." Directly referring to Jon not having the Stark name because his identity was disguised as Ned's bastard child. As you can tell by Ned's words, it did not matter to him that Jon did not have his name. He had his blood through his sister. He loved his sister, and he loved Jon too. Arya and Jon will feel the same for Sansa's child. That child may have a different last name, but it will still be their blood. They will protect it, they will love it, and they will fight for it. It then shows Jon meeting up with his two sisters, and at first you think he is going to stand in the middle of them. Instead, we see him veer to the right of Sansa, placing her in the middle. This is what I would expect to see for people trying to protect someone. Jon and Arya are on the outside with Sansa in the middle. It ends with them stopping in front of their own crypt statues. Jon's torch flame is blown out, leaving them in darkness. It shows the feather freezing over as the white mist appears. They all turn with Jon and Arya pulling their swords, ready to battle whatever may be coming. The torch being blown out, I think, is symbolic of the thought of Jon and all of those who are fighting. If they fail, if they lose this war, the feather is shown freezing. This is what lies ahead for the fate of all mankind. That feather is symbolic of the effort of human survival, symbolic of the innocent child that Sansa and Dany and possibly even more characters will be having this final season. All will be lost if they fail. Remember what I said about the feather being symbolic of human survival in the form of a sweet, innocent baby? That feather being frozen over is also symbolic of what we have seen the Night King do to Craster's child. That is the ultimate target of the Night King. One last thing I would like to point out is the pose of Sansa's crypt statue. Sansa's arms and hands are placed over her belly area. It's a very similar pose that you see Dany standing in during another small clip that HBO released with Sansa greeting Jon and saying, "Winterfell is yours, your grace." I know Sansa does not wield any weapons, so one could say, how else could they have posed her? Well, for one, possibly similar to how her Aunt Lyanna was posed. So I think it is another possible reference to her becoming pregnant, as I previously predicted in my videos. One more clue to add to this prediction is the fact that Sansa is commonly referred to as Little Dove by Cersei. The dove is commonly considered a symbol of motherhood. This is because of its unique ability to produce its own milk. See? You learn something new every day. The teaser ends showing the white mist seeping into the tunnels, closing in and surrounding the three Starks. The last vision we get before the screen turns black is Jon and his two sisters, or should I say Aegon and his two sisters. It reminds me of the conversation Arya had with Tywin when she was his cupbearer at Harrenhal. They were discussing the history of Harrenhal and how Aegon had destroyed it with his dragon. Arya corrected Tywin by saying, it wasn't just Aegon, it was Aegon and his sisters. The clues for what the Night King wants is complex to say the least. I believe his target is the children of ice and fire. He's trying to eliminate that threat for his own survival. Now that's not his only target though. Bran is also a target, but for different reasons. The Night King wants Bran dead, plain and simple. He knows Bran is a double threat. Bran is a warg, but his most powerful weapon is his green sight ability. It is with this power that Bran can provide the prophesied child of ice and fire with the knowledge of how to defeat the Night King. If the Night King can kill Bran, it would be like wiping out the enemy's weapons. Chaos is truly a ladder. Going back to my very first Night King video, I felt that the Night King was possibly after Dany or her future child with Jon, and maybe even possibly both. Since that video was made, I have found so many more clues. I still believe that the Night King wants Dany. I now believe that not only does he want Dany, but he wants Sansa too. Two beautiful royal bloodline princesses to become his queens. One king and two queens, mirroring the original Aegon with his sister wives Visenya and Rhaenys Targaryen, conquering and ruling the 7 kingdoms. Although, should he succeed, he would actually be ruling 8 kingdoms, and eventually, who knows, maybe the world. The Night King would have his queens of ice and fire, Sansa as his ice queen, and Dany as his fire queen. With that, I'm going to wrap up this part of my video. I've still got so much more to come. If you liked this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up to show your support for my channel. If you don't want to miss any of my next videos, please subscribe and turn your notifications on so you can be alerted. Please leave me a comment if you have any questions. I try to answer any and all comments. We are getting really close to the start of the new season. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Thank you to all of my current subscribers, and I hope you are all having a wonderful day.